I hope that you are having a beautiful Christmas season so far. I can truly say that we are. The theme of my holiday home tour this year is cozy and very Christmassy traditional colors, but without the perfection. I didn't plan anything this year, kind of just winging it, taking the things that we already had saved up in the basement and putting them around the house in a bit of a different way. I have a few twists this year, but the tree is just some ornaments that we've had forever. After it was all decorated, I decided to add in some velvet ribbon to just tie them to the branches. I didn't want to weave ribbon through the tree like I usually do. It's so beautiful, but my toddler tends to pick at it, and then the tree looks very not put together the rest of the year. So making it secure was my biggest goal, and I think I achieved that. Now we only have one Christmas tree. Well, I say that, and the kids actually do have Christmas trees in their rooms that they decorated themselves. But on the main level, we just have the one Christmas tree in the middle of the house that we can enjoy from every angle in our main living spaces. For the banister, I shared about this in a recent video, but I just did my usual greenery that I purchased many years ago from A Floral, or several years ago. It's very realistic looking, and added in some ribbons and ornaments this year. It's the first year I added ornaments. I did a lot with my white and red ticking stripe ribbon that I've also had for several years. I just store it away and use it in a bit of a different way with each year. It's a classic favorite of mine. I was thinking, after adding in some velvet ribbon a few places here and there throughout our Victorian house, that it suits the vibe really well. So maybe next year I will go a little bit away from the red and white ticking and more into the deeper tones of the velvet ribbon. As I was decorating, I was thinking, man, I didn't plan this at all. I guess it's something to do with having a new baby this year and all the other things going on. I didn't really think about the Christmas decor till it was going up. Still turned out in a way that makes the kids delighted. They're just so excited with how much coziness and cheer is throughout this home. But the vibe that I think I want to go for is actually what happened here in the mantle. Sort of those dark colors. I found these taper candles at a thrift shop or an antique shop, and they're dark and they're moody. And then the almost burgundy color linen stockings that I got from my friend Cami over at Tidbits. They also match the raisin colored sheets that I have. After decorating this room, it has more of a Victorian historic type of vibe. I think that I would like to carry that more throughout the house next year, as opposed to the country vibe, which I also really, really like. But I had the most fun decorating my bedroom, and I think that it had the style that is best suited for our home. Now, if you are a careful viewer, if you're the detective type, you've probably noticed that that clock is always set to the same time. It's because we haven't fixed it yet. It should be able to work because it's supposed to, but I just haven't gotten it fixed yet. So the same thing goes for the porch. I just brought out what I had. The whole goal was to create cheery, Christmassy home so that the kids are excited about it. It feels like Christmas. It feels like home. It's not perfection. The wreath I did make, I just added in some dried florals and a ribbon. We always have firewood on the porch because we heat with wood. I threw a few ornaments out there, some fresh greenery that we clipped from a tree, still have my ferns, still have my tan and white pillows over on the rocking chairs, and then I had some Christmas themed pillows for the porch swing that I've had for many years. Luke hung lights. They're vintage bulbs and they are so fun at night. And then I also took an additional wreath, since we have so many wreaths now, we've been collecting them over the years, and added a little bit of Christmas cozy to the cottage. I want to take a break to tell you about something that we love in our farmhouse any time of year, and that is Birch Living mattresses. Birch Living is an all-natural and organic mattress company that prioritizes healthy, quality ingredients for your sleep environment. We spend about a third of our lives asleep. For younger kids, they spend half their day a lot of times asleep. So it's really important that we avoid all of the harmful things that happen in the off-gassing of conventional manufactured mattresses. Birch Living provides a very comfortable solution to that problem with their well-loved Birch Natural mattress and their upgraded Birch Luxe. We have had Birch mattresses in our home for quite a while now. We have 2 of the regular twin Birch mattresses in our kids' rooms. We have the Queen Luxe. It features an added quilted organic cotton pillow Euro top, natural talale latex that relieves pressure points, targeted zoned lumbar support, which provides enhanced contouring, and it has over 1,000 individually wrapped steel coils to cradle your body and limit motion transfer. Birch mattresses never contain cheap, dangerous fiberglass. Instead, they use 100% organic wool, harnessing its natural flame resistance. The organic materials help to keep you cool and regulate your body temperature while you sleep. The mattresses are hypoallergenic and allergen and mildew resistant. The best thing about Birch is they offer a 100-night sleep trial. They also offer a 25-year warranty, so that you can be sure your hard-earned dollars are going into something that is going to last in your home for many years to come. Birch Living is offering Farmhouse On Boom viewers 20% off your first order plus 2 free Eco Rest pillows by using my link, birchliving.com/farmhouse. It'll also be linked in the description box below. I have a dried flower arrangement that sits out on the table that I made over the summer. I dried out, or late fall. I dried out several things that we had been growing. It looks pretty still, but the kids get their hands in it and it started to drop some leaves because it sits out all the time. It also didn't feel Christmassy enough. It didn't really blend in with the other elements of decor going on in the kitchen. So I just took some greenery and added that to it, and now it feels fresh and new and like it belongs in this space again. The kitchen, again, kept it pretty basic. I brought out my red dishes that I keep in my Christmas bin. Last year, or maybe the year before, I left them up for a good long while after Christmas time because I just enjoyed the red color so much. Obviously, red can go any time of year. It doesn't just have to be a Christmas thing. But it is one quick way to transform the kitchen to feeling more Christmassy. Of course, a cozy fire in the wood stove just outside of the kitchen always feels like Christmas. I do have a red and white blanket that I keep in this armoire. Throughout the rest of the year, I fold it backwards so that all you can see is the white. So whenever I open the cabinet, it goes with all of the other blankets that are in there. But then when it's Christmas time, I undo it and put the red side out. In a perfect world, I would have enough pillows and pillow covers to redo the pillows in here so that it isn't the usual blue. It looks a little bit patriotic, a little red, white, and blue. And then I have those green ones, which they're kind of fine for Christmas, but I think it all blends seamlessly enough with my usual decor, which was the goal. I have these little stockings that I picked up, I believe it was last year, and I put them on the tree last year as ornaments. I'm trying to remember where I got them. If I find that, I will be leaving a link down below. They are these little advent calendar type of stockings. So they have a date on each one, 1 through 25. So every day of December, you could put a little something in each one if you wanted to have the advent calendar style of tradition with your family. I'd really like to do that. I might still get on that. I need to get on that though, like today, if that's what we're going to do. They're just all so cute. They're made with, it looks like fabrics that the maker found at different thrift shops or collected over the years at antique shops. Some are lacy, some are grain sack. It's a collection I'll treasure for many years. Now, you saw that I put it on the wood stove. I love it there, but Luke said that it's a fire hazard. And now that he mentions it, he is definitely right. So they're going to be moved. I am making water kefir for a fun Christmas drink. So the way this process works is you take water kefir grains, you put them in sugar water, let them sit for 2 or 3 days to really ferment that sugar water. And then a second ferment, which is what I'm doing now, by adding grape juice or any kind of juice really. I thought grape juice would work really great for Christmas, to the finished water kefir. And then the finished water kefir continues to ferment in the grape juice. So you can start a new batch of the water kefir with the grains and then let the finished water kefir ferment with the grape juice. It makes this bubbly, delicious, my kids call it soda, but it's rich with probiotics. So if you can't tolerate dairy for any reason and you've seen me making kefir, water kefir is a great alternative. This is how it turns out. It turns out So bubbly and festive. Everyone in my family loves it. I got the grains from Cultures for Health. For many years, I never had to get new kefir grains because I just kept making it. They multiply, they grow, but I let my water kefir die. I've continued with milk kefir for a decade now, but water kefir comes in and out of my life. So whenever I want to do it again, I get some grains from Cultures for Health and then reconstitute them, and the process carries on from there. I have a few frames that I haven't added art to yet that I thought it'd be fun to do some Christmas or winter scenes, so that way it would be something we could enjoy all through the season. So here's my hack. I want to share with you how I do this in my home because I love art. It can be hard to find the kind of art that you want. So I go on Etsy, purchase and download the prints I want. And then the way that I make this work for each size of frame is in canva.com. I create a custom size and do the number of inches that the frame opening has. So I can do this for any size of frame. I just readjust the art to be the right size. It's cool whenever you have a lot of frames throughout your house. If you want to swap them out seasonally, you can stack the art in it. So each frame has different seasonal pictures and prints that are the perfect size. So like this ice skating scene, I have to crop quite a bit of the original art piece in order to make it fit in the size of frame that I have, but that's okay. That's why it's made just for this particular frame. I have this frame next to the shelves that I did on a recent kitchen upgrade where I organized my kitchen. I took down the cutting boards, put up some art. The colors just never quite vibed, and so we did some figs. I showed my daughter a picture of oranges and a print with figs, and she said definitely the figs. I also wanted to add bells and some of that velvet ribbon that I'm feeling very inspired by to some of the frames to give it more of a Christmassy feel. This print in the entryway, I found somewhere, thrift shop, antique shop. I always thought I would swap the art out. It wasn't my favorite, but I still liked how it looked there. It felt like a placeholder for me. Finally, I'm putting in this ice skating scene. I'll probably put in something else whenever it's spring. But this was a really quick and easy way to make our home feel more Christmassy in all areas. Plus, just give it something fresh. We look at all of these pictures and paintings and prints all the time, and it just took one afternoon to give them a whole new, fresh look. I go to my local print shop. I just send her the resized from Canva images. I make sure to save them in high quality resolution. And then I ask her to print them in matte version. So not glossy, but matte. Last time I forgot that. And when I got them back, they worked. They were just fine. It was my fault. But this time I made sure to specify matte. I ended up hanging the little stockings in the entryway along with the ice skating print, some greenery, a little velvet ribbon. Again, each time I used velvet ribbon and bells, it made me realize that this is the style I want to go for in this home. So hopefully I can remember what I'm saying right now next year and prepare a little bit ahead to have more of that fancy velvet, deep, dark colors style throughout the house. That's what I'm hoping for, but I like how it turned out anyways. I had a spot here in the living room where I plucked a picture that was very symmetrical with the paintings above both wingback chairs, and I never did swap it with anything. So if you've seen in some of my videos lately, just this open spot, yeah, I never did find anything else to put there because I stole that picture to put above the stove. Well, I just stole the one outside of the kitchen to put in the spot above the wingback, and then added the new little foraging in the snow lady with the bells in the flower spot. So in the spot where there were some oil painted flowers. Anyway, I love doing stuff like this where I have a certain piece that it's maybe not perfect. Just getting it up on the wall, almost like a placeholder, and then throughout the years or the seasons, swapping things in, getting closer and closer to maybe the perfect piece for that spot, but just starting somewhere. Of course, this wouldn't be a Farmhouse on Boone Christmas video if there wasn't something sourdough. Actually, it wouldn't be a farmhouse video of any kind, Christmas or otherwise, if there wasn't something sourdough. So for today's menu, I am doing sourdough gingerbread cookies. The printable version of this recipe is over on farmhouseonboone.com. We also have sourdough sugar cookies, which are perfect for the Christmas season. We have so much fun decorating those. There are lots of different cookie recipes, all with sourdough versions. So for this particular recipe, I am doing a 1/2 cup of unsalted butter, softened, a cup of brown sugar, a 1/2 cup of molasses, 1 egg, 1/2 cup of sourdough starter. This can be sourdough discard. A teaspoon of vanilla, creaming that all together with the paddle attachment. You could also, of course, do this by hand or with a hand mixer. And then in a separate bowl, I'm doing 3 cups of all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of salt, 1.5 teaspoons of baking soda, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, a tablespoon of ground ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of ground cloves, and 1/2 teaspoon of allspice. Then adding the flour mixture to the bowl with the liquid ingredients. I divide that in 2, wrap it in plastic wrap, and then put it in the refrigerator for up to 3 days. You can actually even do it longer. I like about 3 days for the proper fermentation, for the proper taste. You can do it further ahead if you want to. After that, I lightly dust with flour my work surface, roll it out to about 1/4 inch, and then cut it into the gingerbread shape. I also today did some snowflakes. I thought that would be really pretty. There have been years where I've made my own gingerbread and then made it into gingerbread houses. It is tricky. It's not something that is great with children. It's something that in theory is really fun with kids, but I recommend if you're going to do those gingerbread houses, just buy the kits. Okay, that's just my personal opinion with a lot of little kids, and especially if you're trying to make them really beautiful. Now, if you want to make them yourself and create this masterpiece, say you have a couple hours all alone in your kitchen and you want to make that gingerbread from scratch, make a gingerbread house from scratch, that sounds super fun and you can go for it. But for the houses, I just let my kids get those kits. It is something we do every year. But whenever you're trying to make something that you actually want to eat, not just put it on display as a cute craft idea for the year, these sourdough gingerbread cookies are all quality ingredients. So that's kind of my goal with cooking and baking from scratch. I'll use sugar. I will use some things like all-purpose flour, but at least everything is quality. So I'm getting an organic all-purpose flour and organic sugar. I'm getting grass-fed butter. I'm doing sourdough to ferment the grains as much as possible before cooking with them. And then to make this icing, I have a royal icing recipe over on the blog as well. It's 4 cups of powdered sugar, 6 tablespoons of water, and 3 tablespoons of meringue powder. You can also use fresh egg whites, whip those until they're stiff. There are lots of recipes for that over on the interwebs that you can make a beautiful from scratch royal icing that makes it really easy to decorate gingerbread cookies. I am using a number 3 tip to put these small little lines and dots on the cookies. All of my kids were outside when I was doing this because I needed to photograph this for a blog post. Normally I would just let them have at it. So I got to do kind of what I was mentioning earlier, be all by myself in the kitchen and enjoy being a bit more detailed with these gingerbread cookies and the decorations on them. As you are planning and shopping, baking and decorating, I do wish you a very merry and joyful and peaceful Christmas season.